What's up guys, this is Shannon and welcome back to the iherng podcast, and this episode is brought to you by the Makeover Guys. They are a property solution company that helps investors and homeowners in furnishing their property, and for all my properties including the one that I am moving in soon, I am using their services. And they have recently just completed their brand new experience center in Kota Damansara. It's so beautiful, it's so knowledgeable, so many things to learn about interior design and home furnishings and things like that. If you are interested, check out their website and I will put the link down below. And today let's get a question from JH. Hi Sean, recently I came across a pure investment property project at Genting. I'm quite attracted to their business plan but at the same time a bit skeptical. They guaranteed a 3 years return at 7%, which is enough to cover the monthly installments and management fees, with an extra 1,000 which we can use it to reduce the principal to shorten the loan tenure. After 3 years, it will be 70-30 profit sharing between all investors and the hotel management Windham. For the next 6 years, investors will share 70% profit based on the SPA price. In their illustrations, even at 50% occupancy rate, we are able to cover the monthly installment and management fee with a surplus of 1,000 ringgit. I booked a small unit at 360 square feet with a SPA price of 700,000. In the agreement also mentioned that they will take care of all the utilities, renovation and fittings. Refurbishment will be done every 3 years too. The risk that I could think of are the location, even though it is just a 5 minutes drive from First World Hotel, but it is quite deep and narrow road there. After 9 years, in the agreement said that it will auto-renew, but there are a chance that hotel might choose to not renew, so it's reciprocal, another pandemic. Would like to seek your opinion on this kind of property investment. Thank you very much, JH. So, first of all, JH, thank you very much for sending in. But this kind of questions, right, you book already. I'm not a big fan of this kind of questions because I affect people's commission, right? Like now you book already, so let's say the agent is about to close you and suddenly if I were to convince you otherwise, then the agent might actually hit me lah. So usually I don't like to do this kind of thing, but there has been a lot of similar deals in the market right now, and let's just get into it lah. Okay, so this is just purely on a rational, purely on a personal opinion. First of all, let's just put it out there lah. I'm not a huge fan of GRR investment properties. So for those who don't understand, GRR means guarantee rental return. In other words, it means as long as you can qualify for the property, let's say at 700,000, right? Every year I will promise you a return of 6% or 8% or whatever rate they want to for the next 3 to 5 years. So as long as you can qualify for the loan, every month for the next 3 to 5 years you will get this return. That's why it's called guaranteed rental return. However, what people don't see is all those loading or all those money that I'm about to pay you later for the next 3 to 5 years time, right? I will just include it into the SPA of today. For example, if the property, let's say it's about 500,000, let's sell at 700,000, I will just mark up the price of the property. So as long as you can qualify for the property, it can cover my cost, then I will have the extra payments of 200,000 to pay you back later for the next 3 to 5 years time. It's just you qualifying for more money from the bank, and you give it to me first and I will slowly give it back to you later for the next 3 to 5 years. Unfortunately, schemes like this attracts two types of property investor. One, investors, they are very fearful about getting tenants for their investment property. And for this group of investors that are very worried about not being able to get tenants, right? My suggestion will be to not do property investment. That's simple. Because in other words, right, schemes like this, I might as well put the money into FD, into S&P 500, into other modes of investment that I'm a little bit more familiar with, which can easily generate a return rate that is way healthier, also secured, compared to a GRR scheme like this. So what JH has said here, the company guarantees a 3-year return at 7%, which is enough to cover the monthly installment and management fee with extra 1,000 ringgit. Okay, so he bought the property price at 700,000. Let's do the math lah, okay? 700,000. So if you were to take 35 years loan at 4%, for example, it's going to be about 3,150 ringgit per month for the next 35 years. okay, for the next 35 years. So if it's going to cover extra 1,000 on top of that, so your rental rate is going to be 4,000. And there's this thing about short-term rental that audiences need to understand as well. So when I'm about to propose a hotel GRR scheme or a property investment homestay business kind of scheme, usually we'll talk about occupancy rate. Occupancy rate means the amount of time that the room will be occupied. So usually they will calculate based on a 70 to 82%. So 80% means on a normal 30 days month, 24 days the unit will be occupied. Then if a night is about 400, so you use 400 times 24 nights, you will get your returners, and that portion of return, people are very obsessed with it. However, this is not the final amount. There will first be a management fee by the operator. Whenever you get bookings, right, who is handing over the keys, who is making sure that things are in order before the visitor gets the unit, right? Then what about the unit itself? What about the cleaning, the furnishings inside and things like that? So usually when you get this amount, total amount, you need to minus the management fee and the operation fees, only you will have this somewhat profit. And from that profit, you will divide between the investors and the owners again. So here they will divide 70-30. So schemes like this sound so good to be true, right? And it attracts the second type of investors, which are lazy investors. They rather just, okay, I just qualify for the loan. Now I own a property in Genting and I'll let the hotel operate it. Here for the next 6 years, I will get 70%. Then 9 years later, there will be a renewal of agreement. Every 3 years, there will be a refurbishment. So it's all sorted out. Every month, I will just get extra 1,000 after covering my loan. These are just musics to investors that are lazy lah. So that's my opinion. Because at this price range, right, 700,000 for a 360 square feet unit, per square feet is 1,944 ringgit. 1,009 per square feet in Genting, bro. Just to think about it, KLCC is 1,006 per square feet. Okay, KLCC. TRX is about 1,008 to 2,000 per square feet. TRX, yeah? So if you have to compare short-term stay business or Airbnb business, right? Although I don't really like this kind of investment format, but let's just roll with it for a while, okay? If I were to pick tourism-based hotspots, okay? Tourism-based hotspots versus city center, right? Which one you think will carry more visitors? Do you think Genting gets more visitors or KLCC, TRX, Bukit Bintang gets more visitors per year for Airbnb? 1,009 per square feet, bro. It's very expensive leh. So in my investment world, how we define good property for investments is property with multiple rental options, which means this property can cater to many different type of target audiences. For example, my unit in Mont Kiara, okay? When I buy the unit, it can rent out to long-term families who's going to be staying there 3 to 5 years time, no issue because of the international school, because of the surrounding. Okay, then you can actually rent out a little bit more short-term, which is like expats, people who are sent to Malaysia for work and they are just here for their community. So you will have Koreans, Japanese, who is exactly the tenants that I got. Then I also got locals who is also working around the area. Then in terms of format of investment, I can go long term, I can go short term, I can go room by room. If I cannot rent out, right, if let's say today my tenant leave already and nobody wants to rent the room, I can actually rent out the room one by one and I'll still generate cash flow from the property. Then if I want to do Airbnb, also can. And that's what we call a property that is good for investment. So it means, right, the property will have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. The more plans the property has, the better it is, because it just diversifies risk of getting the right tenant. Okay, but in this scheme of yours, Airbnb is the only scheme. What happens if Airbnb doesn't work? What's your fallback plan? Okay, everyone likes this kind of thing because it's somewhat guaranteed. The hotel guarantee, the developer guarantee that we will get money back, right? At least also at 50% we will get. What if 50% also don't have? Because during pandemic time, we have witnessed several hotel operators just call it off, right? Even Airbnb operators who have signed contracts with so many different owners, right, as a guarantee based rental, or just call off before contract ends. Things like that will happen. Then what are you going to do with it? You want to sue the company? And what's your stance, right? If you sue already, let's say he stopped operation, what can you do with the property? You want to take and stay, meh? You won't, because it's in Genting, number one. Then if you want to rent out to workers around the area, you think they will be in a hotel format because they are not for long term. Okay, so you want to sell the property. Who is going to buy your property in the future? Okay, so let's face it. If the only reason why you would want to sell is when this project does not work. Let's hope it works. I really hope that it works. Okay? But if it doesn't, what happens? If now every month, after minusing the operation cost, every month you barely break even. You barely break even. So it means every month your installment is covered by the rent and that's about it. Okay? Who else will want to buy? Because the only reason why you are owning it is because of the promises that this developer is giving. What if it doesn't work? So let's paint the scenario. Business is not as predicted, right? It's less than 50%. Now you see to cough out your installment after paying all the services and maintenance and things like that, then you start quarreling. All owners will start quarreling with the operator. Why management fee so high? Why operation fee so high? It's just very easy to criticize as an investor or shareholder or whatsoever, right? And then enough. You don't want to hold anymore. You want to let go. Who else will buy? People who want to get into such regime is only for the money. They are not for the property, right? And when the property is not making money, you think people want, meh? Okay, and you buying this property at 1,009 per square feet is higher price than Bukit Bintang project, higher price than KLCC project. Why would people want? So it means when shit hits the fan, stay also cannot, rent out also cannot, let go also cannot, and every month just bleed money. And in case you want to sell the whole block to another investor, also cannot, because the whole tower belongs to so many different parties. If it's just one party owner, you only own shares, different story, yeah? Now you technically own a unit, and it's going to make things very, very complicated moving forward. Then in my opinion, again, from a person who have audited hotel business before, who are actively in the property investment world, property development world, this is what I noticed. For hotels, right, if you were to look into franchise hotels like Hilton, Marriott and things like that, every fixed period there will be a refurbishment. Because there's a brand guideline to follow, there's a rating system to follow. And how I see these kind of short-term stay buildings is somewhat like student accommodations. That's why I also don't like Airbnb to be operated within the place that I stay. I just don't like the mindset of visitors who are using properties as Airbnbs. It's somewhat like hotels. So they just chin-chai, whack facilities, don't care at all. Like a hotel format. And in hotel, you are allowed to do so. That's why the wear and tear for hotel operated buildings is very, very high. And when you expect a 80 to 90% occupancy rate all the time, the building's wear and tear is going to be terrible. Look into the short-term stay building in Mont Kiara. Within 2 years time, right, you can see everything starts damaging already. You need to replace every other things. Guess where the money is coming from? And who are doing all this? A proper hotel business, because of the restaurant, you need a lot more people. Cleaning and housekeeping alone, how many staffs are there in order to just maintain the business of a hotel? And how many people you expect to be operating your unit? Because if you were to manage yourself 1 unit, 2 units, 4 units, it's fine, it's a full-time job. I have a lot of friends who are doing this. But when you join together under one big companies, right, and everybody is just expecting people to work and they collect dividend every month, just sitting down there chilling, right? Don't you think it's a little bit too good to be true? And when you think it's so profitable, why would they sell the unit? Let's face it, if every unit brings in 1,000 extra on top of your monthly installments, why do you think they want to give you this opportunity? Why would I want to split? Why don't I just build another hotel to be operated by my own? Oh, they just want to diversify risk. So they are using buyers to diversify the business risk. It may be for several reasons. Okay, maybe, I don't know, just maybe the developer bought the unit already and it's a mistake. So the only best way to exit is by selling the land, number one, but no other developers want to buy. Okay, plan number two, I will just build an apartment and to sell. Nobody's going to buy an apartment because buyers are very, very educated. Own stay, no hope. build hotel is just too capital intensive. The total capital outlay is very, very high. Okay, maybe I will just build a building that somewhat looks like a hotel, so lazy and ignorant investors who just want to sit there doing nothing every month gets so-called promised profits on paper. To buy them in the first 3 years, I will just perform, and they will perform because it's almost guaranteed as long as you qualify for the loan. You qualify for the loan, there are surplus for them to roll forward for you. For the first 3 years, everything's going to look good. Then later, when it's all under the management company and all the investors, the developer will just papa. And the operator is just under a service contract. After 5 years, they have the right to leave. What happens then? You go and sue the developer. Hey, developer, hey, you all got him yourself already, ma. I will just develop the land, bring you all together, you all make money for the first 3 years. That's my obligation. But bear in mind, your loan agreement is 35 years. Bro, 35 years, you know. And you know what? Let's make things worse. The only good thing about this project is now there's a proper hotel license operator to be running this. So a lot of other buildings around KL right now, they don't have the license operator, and that makes things worse because you are now one policy away from being out of business. Let's look at Singapore as well. Singapore got no Airbnb one, because hoteliers pay more tax. Then all these small Airbnb operators where got pay tax one, right? So in conclusion, wow, it's been a while since I've been so negative about a project, right? I'm not against the project, yeah. Please bear in mind. I'm just pointing out a lot of very obvious things that a lot of people don't pay attention to. Number one, GRR is for two kinds of investors only. One is for investors who are fearful of getting tenants for the investment unit that they are going to buy. The solution to that is to do more research and to buy somewhere lower than your affordability. If you can qualify for a 600,000 property, get a property that's about 480 to start with. Get yourself rolling first. So if the unit don't get any tenant, at least you can sustain the property for 6 months' time is fine. You just need to do more research. Unfortunately, that's the second type of target audience that such schemes are attracting. Lazy investors who are just trying to put in money and expect return every month while other people are working on their property. GRR is just a scheme where you qualify for an overpriced property and all the premiums are just placed on the developer's side for safekeeping for the first 3 years, and they slowly give you back every single month. It's pretty much confirmed you will definitely get the returns because the building condition is still good, location is still new and things like that. When year 5, suddenly you need refurbishment, the hotel operator is not making money, the location is not making money, and when anything goes wrong, that's when the next thing will happen, okay? What's your exit strategy for such property? Because it's not like a home where you hold 35 years, right? I can still sell the property and it's very easy to do so because I'm the only owner. I can sell to others for own stay. I can sell to other investors that wants cash flow, but such projects cannot. Own stay, nobody want. The only reason why you want to let go is because you cannot make money and you think other investors want to buy a project that is not money making. Impossible. Then what you're going to do with it? Even if you auction, right, who else is going to buy? Because it comes with a plan where you need an operator to operate the building for you. And the last thing, this project is almost 2,000 per square feet, bro. I know it's about 600 or 700,000, but it's 2,000 per square feet, for a 360 square feet unit. Don't you think there are way more other investment projects around KL, around Selangor, around Penang, JB, wherever at this price range, you can buy a lot of other things. Why settle for such project in this location? Unfortunately, it's only for two reasons. You didn't do enough research, or you are just lazy to do it. You just don't want to manage a property. There's nothing wrong, okay? There's nothing wrong with these two. Property investment is not for everybody. I take note of that, right? May I suggest to just take the money, not take risk on such scheme, put into FD, put into share market, S&P 500, whatever that gives you consistent return, right? You will benefit way more because they guarantee you 7% return, right? It's not that you earn 7% one, you know. Let's just do the math. What's your interest of your loan? 4% plus operation plus another 1%, right? 5%. Add most, you are making 2% per annum. You think there's going to be capital appreciation for such projects? Personally, I don't think so, because such high usage project is going to have very high wear and tears, and the maintenance fee is only going to be higher and higher and higher and higher. Look into the very highly used Airbnb buildings in KL itself. Those are all run down. 4 years later, the building, you just need another brand new hotel building to beat your business. And the fearful thing is there's not only one project like this in the location. When your business is doing good, guess what's going to happen? Everyone else is going to do it. That's what's happening in KLCC as well also. But the best thing is, if you compare Airbnb, hotels or short-term stay kind of schemes, I'd rather pick a project in KL City Centre compared to a tourism-based location. To me, there are other better projects that can generate you at least 5%, 6% consistent rental yield compared to this. Hopefully your agents wouldn't hate me for saying this. And if you still want to buy, you really want to buy, I will only suggest you to get this as somewhat like that toy investment, which means this needs to be your third or fourth property. It's a commercial property, so you can qualify 85% loan, you got all the discount and all, you don't need to cough out any capital upfront. Yeah, then maybe you want to play about, if you lose money also never mind, 700,000 never mind one, and you are rich, then you can go ahead, right? But if it's your first two, right, please stay away. There are so many other options, they are better, there's more exit strategy, more rental options compared to a property that's 2,000 per square feet. And I guess that's all for today. Thank you very much again for sending in the email. These are just my opinions, my take, and this is because I have options on the table that is way better than this lah, of course. But you can easily find deals that are better than this anytime, bro. Whatever that is on paper, on the business deals, right, those are not SPA governed. There are no government bodies that will supervise and check the legitness of all this paperwork. Let's say if the business crumbles and you want to take this and sue the company, right, they can just wind up and just call it a day. There's no protection and you are on your own. So such schemes, again, are for people with 4 to 5 properties. Then go ahead lah. You are educated enough or you're loaded enough and experienced enough to do so. If it's your first or second property, let's stick to the conventional ones first. For those who still have any questions regarding real estate, do just email me at taniherng@gmail.com, or you can just DM me on Instagram, iherng, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Ciao.